Okay. There. I did it. I guess I figured I'd start early today. Uh, I don't think I'm gonna start talking yet, but I just figured I'd start early. Just to give people some time to join, I guess. Um, there's gonna be no Constantine today, so it's just me, no Constantine. Um, there's some fun news though that I'm gonna talk to you talk about in a minute. But there's some fun news. How are you guys doing? Yeah. So the tonight there's a lot of air attacks. I guess like Shahid drones. They're coming. From what I understand, they flew from the Chernihiv area. They flew over Kiev, and then they flew down to Venezia. And I'm not really sure what is going on. I've seen some videos of some getting shot down. I'm not really sure what they're targeting or how many went through, how many have hit things. Um, but yeah, there's and I just got a message a moment ago, or I guess like 8 minutes ago, that there is a another batch of shaheeds were fired somewhere over the Sumy region, I think, and they're heading south towards Poltava. So there's one batch of drones that kind of went this angle across the country, kind of like this way. Another one that's going kind of this way. I should get my drawing tool out. I didn't open my drawing tool. I'm gonna need that. Uh, it's the stream is gonna get awkward because the drawing tool unnecessarily goes above everything else, and I haven't opened it yet. So opening it, we're gonna see like the GIMP logo and everything. It's gonna be fun. Let's go for it. Uh, there we go. That wasn't too painful. Um, but yeah, the first drone attack kind of went this way, and the second one seems to be going kind of this way. That's kind of the live news at the moment. Obviously, I don't have too much to talk about. There's an explosion in Kiev. Yikes. Uh, yeah, that's unfortunate. There's a big explosion in Belgrade today. That's kind of fun. Oops, wrong button. Uh, I I had some fun locating it. I located it the hard way just for fun, and but it blew up right here. This is where they decided to drop a bomb on themselves, um, right in the kind of the southern part of Belgrade here. Um, in the images, you can see this kind of park um, in a lot of those photographs. But anyways, it landed like somewhere here, like maybe like there, maybe like here. I don't know. It was like somewhere right there. Uh, anyway, so yeah, I haven't seen anything about Kharkiv. Yeah, I just yeah, I guess I missed Kharkiv news. In my little live news feed here, it just now said that Kiev, the explosion in Kiev. So, anyways, I'm kind of trying to buy time while people join the stream. There's going to be no Constantine today. He's busy at work. Yeah, I think what happened in Belgrade was a 500 kilogram bomb. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it looks like a 500 kilogram bomb. Um, we have some photographs of it. Uh, we have a video of it. Here's a video. It's gonna be like right there. Uh, but there's Russia is saying that the bomb accidentally fell off the airplane, which is I mean, sometimes the bomb just falls off the airplane. It could happen anyway. Uh, and it fell in the city. You can kind of this has no audio, but you can kind of hear the airplane fly by. It's when they say a 500 kilogram bomb, that's the weight of the bomb itself, not the explosive. Yeah. So I think typically the explosive is like half half the weight, or maybe like 60%, something like that. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Here's another image of the little explosion here. You can kind of see that park I was talking about behind it. It's pretty. You see, like this triangle here is that triangle there. So it's the bomb is like right across the street from that triangle. Yeah. The it's kind of funny that the Russian bombs are designed to like drop like down, like they don't really drop horizontally too much. So it's just like they just bomb themselves in their own city. It's like yeah, like 300 kilograms. That sounds right for a 500 kilogram bomb. It's usually like 50 to 60%. There's some bombs. Some bombs have higher explosive mass because you also want fragmentation. Because you don't just want the boomy. You want the fragments to actually do the damage of the bomb. But anyways, I guess I'm gonna start talking about news now because I bought some time. So okay, so I'm going to kind of talk about things that aren't happening more than things that are happening. So one point to talk about that is happening. Ukraine has set up on this island here. I guess I'll zoom back out. This island, which is south of Kherson, I can never remember the name of this island. I had to write it down. It is Potomkin Island. This island here, Ukraine controls like this whole northern part of the island, like this like settlement, whatever it is, Potomkin or whatever the settlement's called. But Ukraine controls the settlement. I don't know how far south you see that there's kind of houses all along the coast. I don't know how far south, but they definitely 100% control this corner right here, and they control like this northern part. So at least this whole northern part is under Ukrainian control. So the military is operating out of here, and Russia has tried to push them out, and they haven't been able to. So that's one thing going on. The other thing going on is that there are rumors that Ukraine has crossed the Dnieper River somewhere in this kind of general area, and that they have set up some sort of permanent or semi-permanent operating situation here. So, from what I understand, this this whole thing has been completely blown out of proportion today. People are saying that Ukraine is like building a bridgehead here to attack somewhere else, and that's just not true. What actually happened here is that Ukraine is regularly crossing with special forces. They have been crossing all up and down, like all up and down this whole Dnipro area, especially kind of this kind of southern part near Kherson. They've been crossing and doing various actions. They've been getting kind of into. We've seen some videos of Ukraine kind of operating around here, and obviously they're here too, and they've also been kind of down here and over here and just all over the place. So, but none of these are major crossings. It's all special forces. So it's all they've been fighting against Russian electronic warfare stuff. They've been fighting to identify like mortar positions and taking out those mortar positions, and just kind of probing around to see what will happen. So what has happened so far is not a bridgehead. It's not an attack across the river. So that's one thing that isn't happening. Although it could happen. It could happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. And the news today was really blown out of proportion, and it makes you wonder, why did the Russians blow this story out of proportion? Do you think it could be that they are trying to manipulate their home into supporting the war more? Because that's what I think. I think they're trying to manipulate Russians into supporting the war. I think they want the Russian people to feel threatened. And I think that's why they're telling this story. But moving on, there are similar stories coming from the Zaporizhzhia area, where in the past few weeks or so, we've seen Ukraine has moved south through Danilivka and into kind of this position that I've marked here in the edge of this blue. So and the Russians are on this line here. So the Ukrainians were at one point like up here, and now they're down here. And this happened over the course of between January and now, like the past like 3.5 months. So there's been about 3.5 months of Ukraine moving through Novodanilivka, and the same is more or less true of Novoandrivka, and and like pretty much all these areas, like this whole front line, like you could say pretty much the same, that Ukraine has slowly moved south over the course of many months. Recently, there have been a lot of I would describe it as intentionally misleading information that Ukraine has suddenly started the really high intensity fighting around here. Some people are saying that this is the start of an offensive, which is not true. I mean, there could be an offensive at some point, but there isn't now. What's going on is recon. It's recon by combat. It's recon and force. So that is what's going on here. There were a number of people yesterday, especially, who were saying that Ukraine announced that the offensive has already begun, and that is sort of true. The offensive has sort of begun, in that, as I've talked about in the past, Ukraine is targeting logistics nodes in the south and logistics nodes in the north. Not so much in the east. It's mostly in the southern part and kind of the Luhansk area. So it's like Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, and Luhansk. Not so much Donetsk. But they've been targeting these logistics nodes they've been targeting, bases, artillery pieces, all these things that I've talked about the whole time. But these all these things have been happening. But do you call that an offensive? I don't call that an offensive. It's shaping for a potential offensive in the future, but these are kind of misleading statements that people are taking out of context to intentionally mislead the masses. And I don't know why they're doing this. But they are. And there's another thing that happened today that is more focused around Hulepol, around Marfapil and Dorozhyanka, where in the past few days, people were saying that Ukraine was pushing Russia out of this kind of Marfapil area, and that it wasn't really necessarily true. There was recon elements of kind of fighting here, but they were never really intending on pushing Russia out, and now Russia is claiming that they have pushed out of Marfapil, which is also not true, at least from what I can tell. From what I can tell, the recon elements came and fought a little bit, like probably around here or something, and then Russia has kicked those recon elements out, and everything is back to the way it was before anything happened. So, and the same is generally true for this Dorozhyanka area. So, this is Russia claiming that they have taken ground when in reality, to everything I can see, nothing has changed. So, and then there is another offensive. I'm gonna reload my browser because this is messed up and it's gonna annoy me. So, and here is the Vuhledar area is another area where people were claiming that first they were claiming that Ukraine had gone on an offensive, and now the reverse for some reason that Russia is on an offensive. The reality is that this kind of suburb dacha area of Vuhledar had been cleared out by Ukraine quite a time ago. I think I marked it here, March 14th. So, that's a month ago that they cleared. That Ukraine cleared this out, and then shortly after, Russia had pushed through, and they made this forest strip into a gray area. And more recently, Ukraine had been fighting kind of in this kind of northern part of Pavlivka, and Russia is now trying to push Ukraine out of this northern part of Pavlivka. So, in essence, what is going around, from what I understand anyway, what's going on in the chat? Anyway, what's going on around Vuhledar is that there is some fighting in this kind of northern gray area of Pavlivka, and there's some fighting around this kind of forest strip, and also I marked today this kind of forest strip area that is a little bit to the east. These are destroyed BMPs. So, Russia tried to move through this forest strip as well. So that is what's going on around the Vuhledar. And to kind of sum this all up, really nothing has changed. The people are cherry picking start and end points, but the reality is that nothing has really changed. I did update my map that Ukraine did kind of they're further south in this area than I thought they were. That doesn't necessarily mean that change. It just I had a lot of gray area, and now it's less gray area. So so yeah, and the same is kind of true here. It's possible, if not very likely, that Ukraine controls this whole area south of like kind of like this. Ukraine probably controls all this. I just haven't been able to prove it. I haven't found solid evidence of it. So I leave it as a big gray area for the moment. Now to move on to the Marinka area. I don't have too much information from here, other than, from what I understand, Russia is trying to kind of push kind of this way, kind to go north of the city and wrap around. Kind of their goal is kind of like go like that. Probably not that far, but you know what I mean. They're probably more like that maybe, but they're trying to avoid this this center area. They don't. This whole center is kind of just death. So they're trying to go around. Obviously, they've tried to go around before, and they took this kind of area, and they couldn't get further than this. I think it's a pig farm. They kind of got stopped around here. They moved in at one point, and then they kind of lost it. I think they just abandoned it. They realized that it wasn't worth. They're taking a lot of casualties, so they just left. But now they're trying to go this way again, and it has had no results that I'm aware of. So moving on north towards the Avdiivka area. I don't really have news of this Pervomaisky Novelska area. The Vodiana, from what I understand, Ukraine was forced to abandon positions in some of these tree lines due to heavy casualties. And but I don't think Russia was able to move up. It was just the gray area was just kind of made bigger. The same is sort of true around this kind of western area of Avdiivka, where Russia's moving this way, and from what I understand, Ukraine has had to abandon some positions due to high casualties. But again, Russia has not been able to advance. Moving to the northern part of Avdiivka, I got some news today, but I haven't been able to confirm it. But I figured I'd talk about it anyway. From what I've heard that Ukraine might actually control like this white area basically. So so if you like the area control might be more accurate if it were here. It might seem like a small change, but it is actually pretty significant. The one thing that I'm hesitant about is that there was a video less than a week ago of Russia like right here. But actually, I don't actually know how old that video was. It's just that the video came out less than a week ago. It could have been much older than that. But I've heard that Ukraine controls all of these forest strips. Not this one, but this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. I haven't been able to confirm it though. I've also heard that Ukraine controls this western portion of Krasnohorivka, but I haven't been able to confirm that either. I also heard that Russia controls Kamyanka, but I haven't been able to confirm that. And I've heard that Ukraine controls the area between these ponds, but I haven't been able to confirm any of this. So I'm going to try to confirm this stuff. Um, and in the meantime, I'm not really changing my map. But this would actually be like a lot of significant changes. So if you count Kamyanka out, I've heard that Russia controls the main part of Kamyanka, so like this part, but like this part is under Ukrainian control. So you could kind of draw the line like that. But yeah, it's really hard to confirm areas of control around here. Moving north, uh, yeah, moving north to Bakhmut. Oh, I forgot to update this today. Um, I forgot to update this today. I'll do it when this stream is over. But this area here is under Russian control. So the Russians basically control everything on uh, the eastern side of these train tracks. So this train track, Russia controls everything on the eastern side. So we already knew most of that. Like this one area was like the one holdout. In particular, there was this particular street that Ukraine had really fortified. This building that Ukraine had fortified, and if you remember last time we spoke, I said that my one of my sources, one of my friends, is fighting near this street, and he said this street was like intense fighting, and Ukraine has withdrawn from all of these positions across the railroad. So this whole area is under Russian control. I just forgot to update it, but more or less, not too much has changed. This Rose Alley area is changing hands back and forth. This kind of area to the east of the Rose Alley is kind of a gray area slash probably partially under Russian control, but not fully. Like Ukraine can operate there. Ukraine had attacked and taken back a few of these streets, and then Russia attacked, and now it's a gray area. So this whole kind of northern part of Bakhmut is kind of stable and unstable at the same time. Like it's teetering on the brink of collapse, but it's also stable, if you know what I mean. So the southern side of Bakhmut appears to be pretty stable, and the central part appears to be stable. So this northern part is kind of it's stable for the moment, but it could collapse at any second. So it's yeah. And then this highway here, Russia has been pushing forward along this forest strip here. And at one point they had reached the highway, and from my understand, Ukraine pushed them away again, and then I don't really know what's going on now. So um, so yeah, the this whole Bakhmut area is it's kind of a it's stressful. It's a high casualty area. Um, I don't know what else to say. Uh, uh, You can ask questions in the chat if you have any questions. Um, the I will say that Avdiivka is a high casualty area, and in fact, I'm hoping to do a fundraiser for the guys fighting here because they need medical supplies, and I'm hoping that we can raise some money to buy tourniquets to help these guys out because they're taking a lot of casualties, and they need the medical help. Um, so so yeah, so kind of moving north still. I have no news from any of this kind of area above north of Bakhmut. I think there's not much news here because it's all like Russian forces as opposed to Wagner. So all the Russians are just kind of like sitting there. uh, we see some news from Sperna, but I talked about it last time, where we have some videos of Ukraine in this kind of refinery area, which I've told you before, has a lot of underground components. So this is this facility is much bigger than it looks on the map because it goes like I think it goes like 20 stories underground or something. Um, but yeah, I don't know of any changes here. There's fighting around I think to the south. Kind of Russia has been trying to push north, and there's some fighting around Kamyanska. I believe in this these four strips there's fighting, and then fighting around uh, the fighting around Bilohorivka as well. But none of this is super interesting. It's all kind of status quo. So getting to the interesting area, the Russians had captured this kind of corner of uh, of the forest. Last time I said that the front line was basically along this road here. And then shortly after that, Russia had captured this kind of corner of that, on the Ukrainian side of that road. And then sometime yesterday, Ukraine had pushed up into this area, which kind of zooming out, uh, Ukraine had pushed up into here, uh, like this. And there's videos of artillery fire. So Ukraine has dudes around here somewhere, and Russia has dudes around there somewhere. Um, how how much these changes matter to anything, I don't know, but I prefer to keep the forest mostly as a gray area because it can change so much so quickly that it's really hard to keep track of. Um, and this whole kind of northern area, I have basically no news. There's I've seen like nothing over the past 2 days, so there's really nothing to talk about. Okay, so that is more or less the main news of the day. There are a few other things that I can talk about. Um, this town here, uh, in the north of Zaporizhzhia, is being hit on a fairly regular basis by the Russian forces, presumably using like a tornado or something like that. That has longer range artillery. Um, Yesterday, Ukraine had an Su-25 shot down north of Vuhledar. There were the two located BMPs in a failed Russian assault along this forest strip. Um, yesterday, um, I located a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, over here, there's like a whole just failed Russian. I don't even know what this is, like a battalion or something. Uh, but Ukraine just demolished it. Like there was a Kamaz, there just a whole bunch of these towed guns. So four towed guns that Ukraine took out, which is kind of fun. These are guns that were presumably shooting towards Sperna, I guess. Oh yeah, the bridge taken out. That bridge, I don't know if it was actually destroyed because I've seen no actual evidence of it being destroyed. It's just a rumor. But there was a this bridge yesterday that was rumored to be destroyed in the on the road to Azov, which is right here, over this particular river, the what's it called, the Obatichna River or whatever, and so apparently they blew up this bridge. Um, I don't really know what blowing up this bridge would accomplish. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's true, and I don't know who blew it up. But so I don't know what to say. Um, but yeah, the that's about it. Yeah, and yet I have heard that uh, Russia is. I've heard that they are sending in their war balloons tonight. I don't know if you guys are joking about that or not, but I did hear that Russia is sending in their war balloons. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna check the live news real quick to see if I'm missing anything. There's a high alert in Poltava. That's not good. This is if I remember right, um, where is it? I can't remember where it is, but there's a factory in Poltava that makes a bunch of I think anyway they make weapons for the military. So they've Russia has been continually bombing it over the course of the past year. Um, it's like a chemical factory. I can't remember where it is. Maybe is this it? Is this it? I think this is it. Um, but it's like a chemical factory. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. Unless you guys have some questions or something. Um, the news lately has been light, to be honest. Yeah, no, no, I'm serious. There's war balloons. There's from what I heard before, uh, Russia attacked with a batch of Shahid drones and a batch of war balloons. That's what I heard. The war balloons are to distract radar, although I don't really understand how you distract radar with a balloon because the radar typically has a filter for your speed, and a war balloon goes what like 5 kilometers an hour or something. So you just need to set your filter to like the speed of something that you're actually wanting to track, and you should filter out the balloons. But anyways, they send in the balloons to distract the radar. No, they're balloons. They're like literally like balloons. Let me find a picture. Here. They look like this. It's just like it's like a party balloon with like a radar reflector. But yeah, the I really I don't understand why these balloons would do anything to radar because you should be able to filter it out. So, but it does like it reflects the radar return. Um, but but usually radar's smarter than that. Do you call this a? I just consider this like a. They're so like tiny. They're not big. They're just like a little balloon. Here, like I've like there's images of you know Ukraine has been shooting them down. So I guess they are bigger than I thought. This is yeah they are bigger than I thought. This is roughly how big they are apparently. Uh, but yeah, these are their war balloons. Yeah. Oh yeah, those I was so excited when I saw the drone. I was so excited it was a hero, and then it wasn't a hero. And I was so sad. I was so sad. I wanted it to be a hero. The heroes are so good. They're so good. I don't. I mean the Switchblade 600's okay, I guess, but it's not a hero. I want a hero. Because like the thing that makes a hero good is the software. Like we want the software. Because first it's just really accurate. Um, like I'll try to find the accuracy tests, but can shoot them through the window of a moving truck. They hit a specific person inside the truck. That's how accurate they are. Um, See, like so we'll say that the Switchblade 600 and a Hero they have the same warhead. Um, it's basically like a javelin warhead on both of them, so they can take out a tank or whatever. So that they have the same warhead. Um, I think the Hero has longer range. I'm pretty sure, and the Hero has better software. And the software is really the key. And no, I don't know if I really doubt Israel will ever. I mean, Israel they gave like a early warning system to Ukraine, and Ukraine is like testing it now. I believe they installed it, and now they have to test it, and I think they said it would be operational sometime in May or something. So Israel gave like a early warning system or whatever, but I just don't think they're gonna send weapons, and it's unfortunate because Israel makes a lot of really good weapons. They have good missiles and drones. Um, like there's a reason why like the U.S. Marines use heroes. There's a reason why like the new German tank shoots heroes as like its secondary weapon. It shoots heroes. Like the heroes are really good. They're really good. Yeah, and heroes cost a lot less money, and they're a proven technology. Whereas the switchblades are not really. I don't think they're proven really. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm gonna try to find that video of them shooting it through a window because man, the heroes are awesome. There was one point in the past where I showed the full hero video, which I'm not going to do again. Yeah, like if you don't know, the Lancet drone is a knockoff of a hero. Like the Lancet even looks like a hero, even though like its features don't actually function. Uh, but yeah, I can't find that video of it hitting a truck. But yeah, there's the thing about a hero that I really like is that you can put it on an airplane. They come in pods on airplanes, and you can fire them from an airplane, which is really nice. There's you can fire them from vehicles. You can fire them from a tube, kind of like a mortar. Uh, there's this thing. Here, I have an image. You can fire them from like a tube. Uh, but yeah, the this is a this is the little guy. Oops, they want me to disable my ad blocker, but I'm not going to. Anyway, you get the idea. Well, heroes are just good. And I would love Ukraine to have them. I'd love to have them in large numbers. It would be fantastic. I think it would be a game changer, especially in an offensive. If you had uh, like this the U.S. Marines just got this toy, this brand new toy. Um, this guy here. Um, this pod, this pod in the back, it shoots 8 heroes. Um, so here's another image of it. See, it shoots 8 heroes, and yeah, there's a what's there to dislike about that? You know. These I don't know. I think people underestimate how good these sorts of drones are. Um, because it changes the whole dynamic of how the war will be fought. When you can fire, you know, 16 of these out of an airplane at once and take out an entire battalion of artillery. We're talking an entire battalion from one airplane launch, you know? Um, Imagine doing that in an offensive when you can wipe out entire battalions of artillery using these relatively cheap drones. They're not really that expensive. Um, and just imagine a Russian force that is trying to defend itself from a determined Ukrainian attack without artillery. Okay, and then you could have these kind of vehicle based things to take out the tanks. So how does a Russian force defend without artillery or tanks? It makes a big difference. Like these drones would be a game changer. Yeah, those bigger the bigger ones are much longer range. From the airplane launched ones, I believe, have a range of 80 kilometers, if I remember right. But anyways, I don't. Ukraine doesn't have a hero. I'm disappointed. It's only a switchblade. Switchblades are okay. They're like a switchblade is just like kind of a long range javelin. That's how I think of it. Orlan 10, they're not that great. Meh. The reason why Russia's lost like 2,000 Orlans or something like that. They've lost so many, and they only ever made 3,300. They only have like 1,000 left. It's like, oh man, it's been brutal for them. The Orlan, they've lost a lot. Everywhere Ukraine has taken casualties, so it's not just Kremenna. I mean, and the toss the those thermobaric weapons, they do damage. Um, I doubt I doubt those weapons are dealing as much damage as you think, though. Orlan 10, it's not. They're not using them as much as you think they are. They're using like Mavic 3s. They're using the same drones Ukraine is. They're not really those like bigger drones. Like they get shot down too easily. They lost so many. They've had to move to anyway. Let's just put it this way. Russia built 3,300 Orlans. 3,300 was total. We don't. I don't know how many they lost over the years. So like from the time they were manufactured to the time the war started, they probably lost a bunch because they were in Syria. They probably just lost them by accident, like just like training people, just like crash into a tree or something. Like who knows? Like they probably lost a bunch before the war started. And it's estimated around 300 of those 3,300 were training drones only. They're not capable of combat for various reasons. Like some of them were like literally prototypes that were never fully completed. Like they're literally just training drones. So like 300 or so are training only. They lost an unknown number before the war started, and since the war started, I believe they've lost around 1,500. So altogether, of those 3,300 that they built, around 2,000 of them are no longer operational. So that means that they have around 1,000, 1,300, maybe 1,500 most remaining of the Orlans. For Russia to field their artillery on paper, they need 2,200 Orlans. So best case scenario, they're around 700 short. So those drones, under the best case scenario, those drones are being made up for with other drones. And even so, like they're using a lot of civilian drones, just like Ukraine is. They're using basically the same drones, and it's also kind of why you know Russia may not be able to jam drones as much as they'd like to. So yeah, the Orlans are just they're just not as good as you think they are. And they're not as numerous as you think they are. Russia doesn't have enough of them. They just don't. It's just a fact. And yeah, the camera on an Orlan is the same camera as in a Game Boy, the Game Boy Color camera. You know, look at this thing. Look how many pixels this thing has. It's like look at that. It's Pixels for days. Yeah. So I think that's more or less all I have to talk about today. Um, I don't even know where my map went. I clicked the button and it disappeared. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I found it. There we go. All right. So, thank you for coming. Today was a quick stream mostly. I got most of my point across in the first like 20 minutes or so. So, anyways, what happened to Bayraktar? They're too easy to shoot down. That's what. They're too easy to shoot down. So Ukraine has to use them in areas where they can fly very far away and see the look from very far away. So that's the issue. It's just like the Orlan. The Orlan is too easy to shoot down. It can be shot down by like anything. The Orlans you don't even have to shoot them down if you aim like that gun, the drone gun at an Orlan, you can force it to shoot its parachute, and then it can't fly because it has a parachute, so it just crashes. So anyway, so I'll see you later, everybody. See you next time. Goodbye.